Hello and welcome to Victoriana. It's a few days into February and it's raining, but at least the wind has stopped. We've had a little bit of damage. We had some damage yesterday. The last storm was pretty harsh to us. Blew out this whole section of the greenhouse. So first job for today, as the wind has stopped, is we're going to be able to get in here, jack it back up and rebuild the wall and put it back together hopefully. It's a busy time of year for us. Our prop beds are running very full. I'll give you a quick run around the nursery in a minute, but as I say, first priority for the day is we need to get this fixed. So here in the prop we're gradually filling up. It's a dull and dreary day today, so we're running the lights as well, but the first of the chilies have got their covers off now, so they've been sewn, been under heat and light, and then they've been pricked out, kept them covered up, and then as they get a little bit bigger we take the covers off and drop the heat a little bit, but obviously keep the light up. Next batch follows on behind that, so that's why they're still covered up. And then way up the other end there we've got some brassicas. That's the first of the brassicas, and over on this side, hiding under all the plastic sheets, we've still got more chilies and quite a few other bits and pieces of veg underway, so we're gradually filling up in here. Still got one bed to tidy up and empty out and then fill back up, but we're going to have a mass sewing session tomorrow, start on some more pretties and also do some more veg and bits and pieces, so we'll probably get that one full up tomorrow as well. Here in the rest of the bubble, it's that time of year where we do the usual thing of squashing up all the fuchsias and all the ornamental bits that we can, which then gives us bench space because we heat in here. We're currently running at about 7.5 Celsius, and that gives us a space where we can get on with other propagation, stuff that doesn't actually need to be on the heat, and also obviously move things on after we've pricked out. Here are the onions. They're all up now, looking pretty good. And then we've got other bits and pieces underway as well. So we've got a big batch of rhubarb that we've recently potted. A little bit further down there, sweet peas are coming along nicely. Lots and lots of fuchsias that we've potted up from earlier prop. And right down the far end, we're starting on potting up herbs that we have rooted as cuttings and other things like that. And a giant big gap in the middle that we're pretty soon going to fill up with pricking out. But yeah, so basically the rest of the house is pretty chocker. I don't think we can get much more in here, apart from the big gap. That'll be gone soon, but we're pretty full up all told. So here in the veg tunnel, there's not actually an awful lot of veg at all. With it being so wet and grotty in January, now into February, we're cracking on with our potting. So we're potting vines at the moment. They just need a little bit of protection at this time of year. If we get some frosts, just evens out the temperature for them. So we're sort of battling with space in here and everywhere else for some of our pottings. And when we get some veg in here in the not too distant future, we've left a few gaps for that. But up here really it's pot, 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 pot. Here on the veg garden, in honesty, we can't do an awful lot at all. It is just so sodden and wet, and every time we think it's just about to start drying up, the heavens open again and we're back to square one. So we're not doing anything really out here at all. Obviously we're lifting some bits and pieces like the saffron crocus, Jerusalem artichokes and things like that from the beds. But the rest of it we've more or less cleared. We've actually lifted our parsnips and our carrots and other things like that and put them in compost and crates because it was just getting so difficult and yucky to lift them. So we're drawing from there for our own use. But no, it's not a great place at the moment. So here on the beds, it's a similar story to the veg tunnel. With the weather being so horrible and yucky, we've cracked on with our containerisation of fruit. So we've been potting quite a lot of fruit trees, and these will be for summer sales, etc. And we've still got quite a way to go, but no, we're not getting on too bad out here. The only other thing is that if everything isn't squashed right together, it's blowing over the whole time. So we're standing it up the whole time as well. But all in all, not too messy out here, and we're getting ahead in some ways where we wouldn't usually, but the weather is sort of keeping us inside a bit more. Here in our little flower area, it's about as grim as the veg garden. We put quite a lot out here in the late autumn, put quite a lot of primulas and some violas as well, and bits and pieces like that. Primulas are struggling on and flowering, just shows how resilient they are, but in honesty a lot of the other bits and pieces have been washed and blown away, and it's not very cheerful at all out here, so I think this will be coming out quite early on in the year, just as soon as we can dry up, and we can have a rethink and plant for the spring. So in a year or season like this, we're pleased with the way that we do it with our fruit. So obviously all this was lifted in October and November of last year, and we straw it all in, and then obviously we draw from here over the autumn and winter months and into the early spring. And yeah, in a year like this, the beauty of it is we're not actually podging about in the mud and the rubbish up there trying to live from the open ground, so it does make our life a little bit easier. So I'll finish off where we started this morning. We've managed to jack the greenhouse up, put the wall back in, get it all pointed up. It's all done. There's a chance of a frost tonight, so we've got it covered on the outside. Just got a couple of bits of glass to put back in, and looking at the rest of the glass, that might be a job for this year, because it looks like we need to have a good clean up of that. Obviously, as we haven't had any snow this year, it hasn't had its magic cleaning effect on the glass, which is a real side benefit of a bit of snow. So yeah, we can get back on with our work. Up here in the top house, as you can see, we're pretty chocker. We've got a lot of stuff potted up in here, a lot of fruit that will bring it on a little bit early. Some of the perennials are climbing into growth now, which is a good thing. And we'll obviously ventilate when it's not windy, just to keep everything checked back a little bit. But yeah, no, that's it for February, and we'll catch up early March.